We're back.
We are, and she's turning that around, and we're
Hi,
here.
Wildflowers. And Wildflowers. Jess, you should be used to this by now.
I should. Well, it's been a while since we've gotten together, which we'll go into, but you are.
I'm Judy.
No.
That's Sadie.
Yeah, that's the dog I'm dog sitting.
And you are?
I'm Carol.
And I'm Peggy.
Sadie, go lay down.
And that's Sadie. Go away.
Sadie.
Yes, well, it's been, I'd say about a month, right? Since
Probably.
It was December 30th.
All right,
Less
so
than a month.
less
Because
than
it
a
was
month.
Peter's birthday, remember?
Oh, yes, and it was before New Year's.
Right,
We were
right.
supposed to get together a week
Yeah.
ago or so.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, and then we were going to move it to the 19th,
Right.
which was on Friday, and then
Well, I got
So,
COVID.
yeah.
It's out there. It's
we were
real.
afraid of her.
And yeah,
Well, she
it's-
wasn't feeling great.
No.
And then I had a head cold, not COVID, but that didn't really do anything to screw us up, my head cold, because that was like...
No, because you kind of had it at the tail end when I had it, and
Right,
then, but yeah, that was not nice at all, and I lost
No.
my sense of taste, but
You
it's
used to-
back.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
back?
well, that's
Thankfully.
good. I didn't
Yeah.
lose my sense of taste, but nothing tasted good to me. But I could taste it.
Oh,
But
that's
even
sad.
like that, after the first couple of days, I said, maybe I'll feel better if I have a glass of Chardonnay.
I thought the same
And it
thing.
was like, this stuff is awful. And it was a brand that I liked.
That's so funny, because I had
Yeah.
dinner with my next-door neighbors, and the one who had lost her taste, it came back, and she lost it again, and
Oh, she did.
she lost it again, and she said the same thing about the Chardonnay, I think it was. She goes, it tasted like rubbing alcohol. She said, I
Yeah.
don't know what happened.
Everything tasted funny. Things that I loved. Well, so that's how I lost. I lost 10 pounds
Yeah.
when I had COVID, but then
Yeah.
I also got the gastrointestinal a couple of days later.
Ding,
Yeah.
ding,
So,
ding. Yes, I did
Of course,
too.
I've gained most of it back already, but whatever.
Because she
Oh.
got her taste back.
So it's out there, it's real,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
made its way through. But we're back,
Yeah.
and we're all
So
healthy. thankfully.
what's happening? Like, so it's been so long, so...
I really had nothing much happen except just
Yeah.
No,
trying
I've
to get
been
through this.
I've been hibernating.
Yeah.
Have you been? Yeah.
I really have been like a bear. I'm not going out.
Do you
It's too
growl?
cold.
Do you-
And I found myself complaining every day.
Of the weather, because we are in like this middle of
Yeah.
a cold
I
freezing
really
right
do
now in
not
the north
like
coast,
winter.
northeast. Yeah.
I really don't like winter. But it's kind of, that conversation's going to kind of tie into my topic today too.
okay.
Oh,
So,
all right.
Yeah, it's 27 degrees. The last I looked at today at noon, it was 27 degrees out. So that's a little chilly, but...
well, the wind is what's making it really feel bad. At least
Yeah.
today the sun's out. That doesn't
Yeah.
happen very
No.
often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, it is cold, and I, as you know, I keep chickens, and so I'm always
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I judge everything by like, oh, my chickens.
Yeah,
And
that's-
so,
yeah.
but they're very pampered and
Oh.
well insulated, and
Oh,
they'll be fine.
Sadie, you were a good girl the last time. Stop.
It's we're starting a little early.
I
Yeah,
do
that's-
it with the birds, because I feed the birds.
Yeah.
And it, it was so cold the other morning. It was like 16 degrees. And I'm looking out at the little birds, and I said, oh my God, I have to go out there and fill it up. Please don't make me.
Yeah,
and I had to.
You have
And
to
you have
do
to
it.
put on
Yeah.
the boots, because I have to walk around the house through the snow and the ice.
Yeah.
But I did it.
Well, when we were meeting, there were different things I'd read. I'm like, oh, we should banter about that. So I did write down 2 different topics. So
You did?
maybe
Okay,
one
'cause
we'll
I'm-
do now, and then the second podcast I'll bring up the other one.
All right, because I had a little
Okay, yeah,
something.
I have a couple
All right.
of things I could
Banter about. I'm
Yeah.
sure we have a lot of banter.
Yeah, I know, it's been weeks of not bantering,
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Well, I'll do this one. So Newark, 16-year-olds in Newark, they won the right to vote for the school boards. What do you think of that?
Good for them. They're
Right?
in the school, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All those decisions directly affect them.
I just love that. So
Yeah.
apparently in California, Berkeley, and Oakland, they have done the same thing. And 2013, Tacoma Park, Maryland, was the first to let 16-year-olds to vote in local elections, which I had never heard of either.
No, me neither.
And now Brattlesboro, Vermont has done the same thing. So I found that very interesting.
I mean, I would even go further than that, and like high school students, like from 9th grade on.
Yeah.
You know that it's good civics anyway.
It's part of
Yes.
the
Yeah.
civic requirement.
Yeah,
and have them
Exactly. You know,
learn
this
what
is
to-
how these people affect you,
Right.
and it's very important that you vote. So they'll create
It'll make
future
them
voters.
engaged.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm going to be the devil's advocate here, but I'm in support of it. But I
Right.
could see, and I'm just
Go
spitballing
ahead,
this out
go
here, is the complaint being, school boards also control the taxpayer money and what the funds go. And so, are you going to give this kind of power to a large, like in my town, the West Islip High School is a very large high school, and so, to how they spend our money, if they're not the ones being taxed on it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it does affect them.
No, that's
but
very
it's just
interesting
an
point.
interesting,
That's a- it
interesting
is a
thing to
point.
consider.
Well, I would bet my bottom dollar that it would never happen on Long Island because it's too Republican.
No, it's never going to happen.
And everything's about money. And most of these places are probably Democratic places, like Newark.
I didn't really look up
Yeah.
the demographics.
I mean,
of that,
probably. I'm not
More
100%
likely.
sure,
Right,
but
right.
I mean, Newark probably is, it's
what is more
Democrats
refreshing? I mean, like
city.
in our school district, and I know I mentioned it here before, is that we did elect an 18-year-old.
Yes,
to
and
the
that's
school
what
board.
triggered
Yeah.
that to me.
Yeah, and so I think that was a step in a positive direction.
Right,
It'd
yeah.
be nice if more younger people
Right.
got involved.
Well,
in their
this
local
will help
politics.
these younger people
Right.
to know,
Yes.
hey, I could do this. I could
Yeah.
be involved in this too.
Well,
So I think
remember
it's
how
excellent.
we were sending young boys, and it was mostly boys, to Vietnam,
Oh God, yes.
and they didn't have the right to vote yet, right? I mean, so that was like,
Right,
are you kidding me?
right.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, that was my little topic.
Very
so.
nice.
I just had a quick thing. I had printed out this list right around New Year's Day, or maybe it was on New Year's Day. I'm pretty sure I got it from the New York Times. And it was just randomly they asked people what was the best advice you received.
Oh.
And so I just picked one, and this one I thought was good, and I thought of you.
Oh.
And not exactly you,
Oh,
but
okay.
You, but someone with
me.
blondish hair.
Not only you. I mean, Anya came to mind with
Oh,
this.
okay. All right.
And not only her, many people,
With
like
blonde hair.
my sister-in-law, no, not blonde hair. But every time you receive a box containing something you bought online,
Uh-huh.
fill it with items to donate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I said, that is such a good idea.
Yeah,
to
but I don't
do.
really get boxes. I get the bag that you have to rip
You
open.
could you
Yeah,
could do
but
that.
so
Yeah.
it's
Fill
just
that.
that like you're getting something, donate something that you're
Yeah.
probably not using. Like I find stuff all the time, and I say I bring it to the food pantry, put it outside
Right,
on the
right.
cart.
That's
Somebody
great that you
always
have that.
takes it.
Yeah, I love
You know,
that you
and
have
we
that.
have like 2 thrift shops that one of them is a community closet they call it,
Oh, I love that.
and it's free. People could go in there and take anything they want
Wow.
for free. And it's all donations from the neighborhood. And then we have a church that has a thrift store right in town, and like you could bring
So
stuff
you
there.
have a lot of options.
Like those
right?
dishes, I think
Yes.
I told you I bought them there,
Yeah.
and they were so pleased.
Yeah.
They said these are things that we really need. I guess
Okay.
people just dump their
Dump their
junk on them
junk, yeah.
sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's good.
All right. Well, so I don't really have banter, but I was part of what in your vein, Peg. I was going through my bookshelves, and I'm donating a lot of stuff. And I actually, because I go to Barnes and Noble or the library,
Right.
and I bring home. But so, like you, is I'm bringing things out. So
Right.
we actually just donate
Exactly.
like 5, soon to be 6 boxes of other books that I
Right.
have. But one of the books I came across was this one, and I was like, oh gosh, I like this, and I
is
think
that it?
it is.
I can tell I have that book somewhere.
And I thought, how kind of fun would it be if we just randomly choose
Oh, I
a
love that
question?
little
It's kind of
book.
like a little bat. Do we
Yeah.
remind?
Yeah, no, I love that book. I have it
I'm
unless I
stopping
gave it away.
randomly. Okay,
I know,
ready?
I had it
Peggy,
too,
Yeah.
I don't know
point
why
to
this-
a question. Ready? Just point, and whichever one. Okay. If you could have any type of fresh cut flowers delivered to your home every week, what one type would you pick?
Oh, for me, it's definitely daisies.
Oh, I love daisies. Yes. Oh, yes. That was mine too.
My favorite flowers
Yes.
is funny because I was studying some Spanish and I was reading a sentence in Spanish and it had to do with the favorite flower. And I said to myself, well, mis favoritas de flores es geraniums and daisies.
Oh,
and you would have said daisies.
I love daisies and zinnias, I would say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know there's something just
I
sweet.
said it backwards. Alvaro, I'm sorry. Mis flores favoritas.
Well, I would have never known the difference, but Alvarez probably
He watches it.
Yes. No, now when I was younger, do you remember you played with the daisy? He loves me, he loves me.
Yes,
now.
yeah.
It's like
I used to
crazy,
do that.
but I just love the simplicity of a daisy.
Me too.
I love daisies and I also love daffodils. I love flowers that they bounce their heads.
Yeah.
They look like they're dancing. And I wasn't tripping or anything.
All right, do we need to add wine to this?
Yes, we do. Let's add some wine
Well,
to
it was
the,
my turn to pick this wine, and this is a wine, obviously they read it before we started. I opened it up. It's called, it's something that you ladies might have had before. Herederos del Marqués de Riscal. It's a Rioja.
I love Rioja.
Brand.
It is a 2018, and this is the Reserva. And I've heard a lot of good things about this one, so I wanted to get this.
So when you say you heard a lot of things, from whom did you hear?
I bought this at Stu Leonard's.
Oh, okay. In
And-
Farmingdale.
In
Oh, yeah, that's right. I
Farmingdale.
had a couple
And
of
I was talking to the lady there about Riojas because I wanted to find a white Rioja like Peggy had, and I wanted to show
right.
her to Niall. She thought she had one, but she didn't. So we were
okay.
talking about different ones, and I bought two, I think, from there. And the one of them I drank already, and that one was all right. But
Wait.
oh no,
wait.
one we had here. I
Time
think.
out.
Yeah, we had.
And we were like,
yes,
oh, it was
I
all
had
right.
the. Was that the Albarino or the Rioja? I know that I've done Riojas
Yes.
before because
But
I do like.
It's dry January. Are you not doing dry January?
This is a dry wine, I think. It's or medium body.
No, because you said you drank the other one already, and I just
Well,
Yes,
she's
well-
doing dry wine.
No.
No, I did not do dry January this year.
You damp, right?
I can't even say it's damp.
You gave her out if you didn't take it.
Well, I started with damp, but
I
this
did
week
start
I was
with
bad
damp.
because of the holiday.
Yeah.
I said Monday is part of the weekend. Sorry, I can have wine.
No,
I was pretty good.
no.
I gotta say, I went out to dinner last night. I had a whiskey sour, and then I was like, oh, when I get home, I'll have a glass of wine. I came home, I'm like, Carol, you don't need a glass of wine. Pour yourself wine.
It's not need.
I know. No, I know. It's more for me calories. I'm like, no, I'm going to be doing wine today.
The calories and the expense too. I do spend a lot of money on
Yeah,
wine.
it can.
But on
anyway,
Wednesday, then I went out because the People's Pantry had
that's
had
right.
the party in Teddy's, and it was open bar.
Well,
so
hell
I
yeah.
mean, really.
No, come on.
Then that would just be criminal if you didn't.
Yeah,
I know
no,
it was
exactly.
actually fun.
All right, so this has really good legs on it.
Yeah, mine does too.
Oh, it smells
Peggy
delicious.
didn't bring the glass that you got her. She didn't.
See,
bring
we
it.
told you not to bring it home. You wouldn't bring it back.
I'll bring it back.
Uh-huh.
Because she's got some fancy ones now.
Well, that's my fancy one. That one, the London one, and the ones my sister bought
That's
me.
what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Those glasses that say
Oh, did you taste
"In a
it?
Field of Roses." She used
Oh,
a
wait.
wildflower.
No, we didn't
Did you
Oh
see
yeah, I
that?
love that one. That was pretty.
Okay, so
I tasted.
to good health.
Cheers.
Good
Yes.
health.
Cheers, my dear.
Cheers. And
To
to
peace
warmth.
on earth.
Jesus.
Jesus. Really?
You almost made me take a sip to spit out when you said that.
God bless us,
I
everyone.
really like the smell of this.
Mm.
I like the taste better than the smell. And
I like it both. I like
I
the
can't even
smell.
believe I'm smelling anything.
I know, I
Just
couldn't smell
like-
anything for a very long, long time.
Long, long time.
It's
All right,
not
so-
as full-bodied as I thought it would be.
It's a medium-bodied
Okay.
wine. I
Yeah.
looked it up.
But I like it.
Which is, I think that's what a Rioja usually is. It's
Yeah.
more medium.
Yeah, I feel like
yeah.
it is.
What are you tasting?
It's
in
a little acidic. I taste a little,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
you know, at the finish. the back of the tongue. I guess cherries is really
Yes.
what I smell.
That's what's in
I
there.
smell it more than taste
I
it.
wanted to say cherries, but I thought, do I always say cherries?
Because it's always cherries and blackberries. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's
But-
cherries. There was something interesting in
reds.
here, which I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like that, which because you probably won't get it. You probably
So.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Licorice.
No, not licorice. Is that what you taste?
No,
Licorice?
well, no. I was worried that you were going to say licorice, but no.
No, I don't taste licorice. There is something.
Yeah, it's
I
something
taste
different.
it now. Long after I
Now
seconds after
that
I
she's
swallow.
like telling you to really like think about it.
You can pick this now because I know what I'm looking for.
Can you give us
I
a
can
hint?
get it. I can
Can you
take a
give us
whiff
a-
of it from
can you
it
take-
in here.
Give us a hint.
It's nothing I've ever had in that wine.
Is
that
it
I know.
fruit or mineral?
No, it's
Oh,
herb.
Oh,
Okay.
peach is an herb.
Herbal. But
I don't know.
I can smell it. It's Earl Grey tea.
Oh, that's the
Oh,
bergamot.
wow.
That's the Earl Grey tea. It's that flower bergamot.
Oh
I
yes,
think, right?
see,
The
I'm not a
herb
fan, and I love tea, but Earl Grey's not my favorite.
I never used to like Earl Grey tea until a couple of years ago. I
What are
started
you laughing
liking
at?
it.
What did you say?
I had a flash memory of you, Peg, in the cafe, because when I first started
Mhm.
working there, and I ordered Earl Grey tea, one time, and I just remember, and you gave me the typical Peggy look when you don't like it, you're like, oh, I don't like Earl Grey tea. And
I
just
never
forgot about-
used to like it.
But
To me,
she-
it was.
oh my
Well, you know how I am.
Yes, I didn't know you back then very well, and I was like, oh my gosh.
It used to taste so flowery to me, but now I can drink it. I don't drink it often.
Yes.
I usually stick with greens.
Okay, so this wine is, and I'm going from Wine Spectator. Okay, calls this fresh and balanced, medium body red, offered plum cherry fruit flavors, accented by baking spices, iron, and Earl Grey tea. Okay, so what's interesting about this wine? It's a classic Rioja wine. 90% Tempranillo, 10% Graciano and Mazuelo from 30 to 40-year-old vines.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, and the grapes are hand selected as they come into the winery, and only their best grapes of the vintage are selected for use in the Reserva.
Oh.
So this one,
I like that.
right?
Okay.
They sit about approximately 2 years in American oak barrels after they bottle it. I mean, after they create it.
Mhm.
So. I think I'm very happy with this. I think it's
It's
delicious
very
wine.
good. I do
Right.
it's a shame because I learned a new word that relates to wine and I can't use it for this wine.
Oh, okay.
But the word is so cool, so I'm going to say it anyway.
You know what, Peggy? You just say it.
Okay.
You just say it.
Rebel.
She is.
Quaffable.
Oh, quaffable.
Like with
Yeah.
a C or
No, a Q.
Q.
I've never heard of
Quaffable,
that word
quaffable.
before. Do you know what it means, quaffable?
Quaff. When you quaff, I know quaff.
I thought quaffed was like,
No,
with your
that's
head.
C,
That's what
that's
the
C.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have seen the word. I've read it before. Quaffable, drinkable.
Drinkable is
yeah.
easy to drink.
Yeah.
Quaffable is easy and enjoyable to drink. It's used especially of wine that is simple and pleasant to drink.
So you wouldn't use that for
You
this
This
one?
no, because this isn't. I think this is more complex.
Oh.
I think this is a more complex
I
one.
think
This
it's
is very
delicious.
good.
How?
Yeah.
Okay, so how much would you pay, and what do you think the wine alcohol
Well,
concentration
it's a
is?
reserver. I think it's 13%, and I would say it's a reserve $21.99.
Okay.
Okay, I say for the alcohol 13.5 or whatever the point is, and I will say 16.99.
Okay, it is 14% alcohol,
Oh,
Okay.
and it is $17.95.
Oh, I was
cool.
close.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is not bad for
I
good
figured
quality
I
wine.
know that's because I know
Because
the
of the
Rioja,
reserve, yeah.
but I said, oh, reserve. They always charge you more for that.
I know they,
so.
but still, that's not too bad.
Yeah,
No, I would get it.
no,
I
it's
would buy
very
this
good.
again,
Yeah, I
definitely.
would give it like 4.75 Wildflowers.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
same.
would give it 4.5.
Okay, excellent.
Okay,
And the
so
color's pretty
give me
too.
the name of it so I can write this down.
Oh,
Marquis
right.
date.
Bring it over her.
Yeah, here. Anyway, so
all right, so
while she's writing that down,
I've had the Chardonnay, real high.
So,
Well, not Chardonnay, the white one.
do you mind if I
right,
do you mind if I do the book while you're taking your notes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, so I've done this book already, but the problem was the audio wasn't working.
Oh, right.
So it's like
She's never gonna let me live it down that I forgot I put the wrong switch
Peggy,
and it didn't turn on the
did
microphone.
I say that it was your fault?
No, you didn't have to say it. Oh, this is 14%.
Anyway,
14, yes.
Anyway, it's a Long Petal of the Sea by Isabelle Allende, and I am going to have to deal with my notes because it's like 4 books later that
I know.
Right now I just started The Engineer's Wife, and that is about the woman that helped with the Brooklyn Bridge on behalf of her husband. So I'm 2 chapters into that. But anyway, so she took the title of this book from a Pablo Neruda poem, and I'm going to read you the poem. Not the whole poem, but this is, "O chilly long petal of sea and wine and snow, oh when, and when, oh when will I be home again? The sash of your black-white foam will encircle my waist, and my poetry will flood your land." So it takes place from 1936 to 1994. So that's a long stretch for the book. And I'll have to put my glasses on to read my notes. And that's crazy, when you read a book that you want it to stay with you, but there's just so many notes when you're reviewing it that you can't forget. So it's set against a backdrop of war and upheaval. And Allende was inspired to write this novel after learning about the Winnipeg, which was known as the Ship of Hope. And it was a French steamer notable for arriving at Valparaiso. I don't know if I'm saying that right, in Chile. V-A-L.
I can't read that.
Valparaiso.
Yeah, so
V is pronounced as a B in Spanish.
Valparaiso.
Valparaiso.
Okay. Anyway, it's in Chile. And on the 3rd of September, 1939, with 2,200 Spanish immigrants aboard, this was the Ship of Hope that was getting them out of there. So the refugees were fleeing Spain after Francisco Franco's victory in the Spanish Civil War. So she used a lot of facts. It's a work of fiction, but it's based on a lot of facts. And there are numerous characters in this novel, and the author juggles them, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to follow. But the main focus are the characters of Victor and Roser. And they were displaced from their homeland not once but twice by war and a military coup. And it's just, when you're reading this, it's just so disturbing because, these are people that are people we know. They're having a home life, they have a family, and all of a sudden everything has to be just disrupted and they have to escape. And it's just, that's so sad. So they, like all the refugees in the Spanish Civil War, have absolutely no choice but to leave their home country. And that reminds me of what's happening today.
It's exactly what's happening today.
People always say, the immigrants out there, they bring this, they bring that,
They're desperate people.
They're bringing their hope is what they're bringing.
Yeah.
And we just, let's knock down the Statue of Liberty if we're not going to be opening our heart to these people.
Don't give them any ideas.
No, that's true. So what broke my heart about this book, which naturally you'll get this, is the pets that they had to bring with them, that eventually they lost them on their journey. Yeah. And that just breaks my heart. I was like, I can't imagine going somewhere with my dogs and then losing them. I don't even want to think about it. Yeah. So much, like I said, a lot of it is based in fact and research, and not only includes Pablo Neruda in this fiction, but the author's uncle, who was Salvador Allende. He was the former president of Chile, and he died by suicide on, which is funny, September 11th, but 1973, from gunshot wounds during a coup d'etat led by Pinochet, commander-in-chief of the Chilean army. Whenever I hear Pinochet, I think of the song that Sting wrote, like, "Hey Pinochet, where's the men?" And he's talking about like how the women would dance and wait for their husbands, and they would dance for their spirits. And it was just, the song is just a beautiful song.
Oh, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, you probably heard
I
it.
probably have.
So her father was Chile's ambassador to Peru. So Allende, who went into exile after her uncle died, and had death threats against her. So Isabelle Allende had this against her. And she's a New York Times best-selling author, most notably for her novel House of the Spirits. And a movie was made starring Jeremy Irons, Meryl Streep, and Glenn Close. And she received the Penn Center USA Lifetime Achievement Award, and she's gotten so many other awards. And what did you point at?
The Medal of Freedom.
Oh yeah, the Medal of Freedom
by
Barack Obama in 2018. And she received the Medal of Distinguished Contribution to American Letters from the National Book Foundation. So that's sad. She got a lot of awards, but I can't say that I loved the novel. And that breaks my heart because I was so looking forward to reading it. But I felt as though she had so many characters that it was hard for me to connect with just a small group of them or whatever. And I felt like the last few chapters were rushed throughout the years. She kind of rushed them. So it somehow felt like an overview of history, which I like because it does made me, I did research after, so, and we're talking
like
about,
you learned something,
yes, I definitely learned something. So she used these characters to tell that story. So, so I gave it 3 Wildflowers, and maybe at this point, maybe I'd give it 3.5 Wildflowers, because it was, I don't know, I did learn things, and it challenged me. It's not like I, said, okay, I'm going to give up on this, because I did want to know what was going to happen all these years with these main people. But so
didn't she write The Marriage of Opposites too? Is that her?
She's got
she
quite
wrote
quite a lot
of them.
Yeah.
But she's very prolific, and it's not this is an advanced.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But anyway, but again, Isabelle Allende, A Long Petal of the Sea. And
has it come out yet? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, it came out in 2017 or something.
Okay, gotcha.
I've had this for a long time. But yeah, it's an advanced reader copy. But I like to challenge myself, and this was one of those books that I was like, okay, I'm going to challenge myself.
Good.
And so
love
that's
that.
it. Yeah. So,
I've been reading a lot.
Me too.
Because I'm hibernating.
Yeah. No, that's the one blessing with this podcast. I mean, good review. Isabelle Allende is a very gifted writer.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I think that was a fair review, and it wouldn't turn me off in any way from reading
Good.
this book because she is very gifted. And as what we've known, especially what we talked about before we got on here, is that sometimes things hit us but doesn't hit another reader.
Yes.
And so one of the books I let, not
Exactly.
always say which one, one of the books I lent Peggy, I thought she'd love it. She didn't love it so much, and that's okay, and I think that's that's what reading's all about.
Yes, it is. I mean, it's different for everybody.
And what I love about this podcast is that it has made us put our feet to the fire more and sit down and read. And now I have several books that are in the wings that I can talk about.
Me too, and that hasn't been for a while. So I think, with the winter here, usually I read more in the summer, and I don't know what happened this summer. I don't know. But I've been doing a lot of reading because I don't want to leave the house because it's too cold.
Well, it's so funny that you say you read more in the summer because most people, they read more in the winter because they can't go out.
I know, but I like to read in the summer in the late afternoon, like after dinner. Okay. I go outside. I sit in my chair. When I lived in Levittown, I used to sit in my beautiful, hammock swing in the tree.
Yes.
And I read until I can't see anymore. It's like late dusk, almost dark, and I say, okay, I can't see anymore.
Right.
But this winter I've been reading more, and I'm focused for this upcoming year of making time to read too, and making time for my Spanish lessons. So even if it's only like 20 minutes, but usually reading it pulls me in.
I'm surprised that you said you have to make time because I get the impression from you that you always make time to read.
Well, I do, but I haven't been I think the last half of last year I wasn't. Well, in the summer I was, because I do go out every night and read.
Right, right.
But, you know, then we went to London, and then in November I was sick. Not November, October I was sick. And
so is there a certain ritual you have for both of you for your day where you read at a certain time, or would it depend differently?
For me, because that's like I've been writing for most of the day or whatever, and working with clients or whatever, so then it's like, okay, I gotta enjoy myself now. So it's usually after watching the news, 6:30 news. I don't watch Jeopardy that much anymore.
Yeah.
I miss Alex Trebek. So I just kind of like, I could watch Jeopardy, but you know what? Turn the TV off and start reading.
Okay.
And then I do that. So I read for about an hour or so.
So that's your time.
That's usually my time.
All right.
now you read at night in bed, right?
I read at night usually.
Yeah.
Don't you drift off?
No, because I'll try to do at least a chapter, or depending on the style of the book. You know, like the book I'm reading now, their chapters aren't reliable predictors. Like like a chapter could go on for like 60 pages.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't know. But I'll try to do something like that. But that'll be, so at least I know I get something in at the night, because the day is too unpredictable for me.
Yeah, well, you have 2 teenagers and
work,
a husband and
so
work.
but at least that's like my
so.
time. But
Yeah.
What about you?
I pretty much, usually my reading time is from like 3 o'clock to maybe 5 o'clock, like that's 2 hours.
Okay.
Because, and then at 5 o'clock I say, all right, what am I going to make for dinner? You know, and then I get up and I prepare my meal, and then in the evening after dinner, then usually I'll watch Jeopardy or The Rifleman. I just can't stop watching it. It's my new Columbo.
I was just gonna say this is Columbo.
She's cheating on Peter Fogg.
No, I did watch Columbo last night.
I went there. They want some more, really. I miss
no, it's
my
going
wine.
right to my head actually, and I feel very flushed and hot. So, but it's a nice one. So
Not yet. In a little bit.
All right, well, there we are. So that's our reading.
So books, booze, and we did some bantering, so now it's your turn with the
Okay.
topic.
Okay. My topic is going to be gratitude.
Yay.
I figured that's a good way of starting the new year. And how do I start? I guess I would start by, because I was reading a lot about the difference between thankfulness and gratitude. And there is a difference. Like, thankfulness is kind of like a temporary thing. Like, you could give me a gift, and I could be very thankful. Thank you very much. That was so nice of you.
Right.
But gratitude is more an internal thing.
Right.
A state of mind.
Exactly. It's like, even if everything is going wrong,
you can still have gratitude.
You can still have gratitude for what is not going wrong in your life, or things in your life, people in your life.
Right.
So, and I had never thought of it in that way. And there is actually, I'm skipping ahead. There's a magazine, it's an online magazine, and it's by Berkeley College. It's called The Greater Good magazine, and they actually have a project for the greater good. And it's very interesting. I had never heard of it before, and I went on that site. And it's like science-based insights, for a meaningful life.
Okay.
And psychologically, gratitude is very good for us.
Yes.
So practicing gratitude is good for you and your relationships. Thankfulness, that one of the differences, that thankfulness fades and gratitude remains. Thankfulness is external. It's for external things. And we practice gratefulness. We rely on our inner voice to stay positive. So I think that I'm a very grateful person. I don't take things for granted. And I'm not saying I was always that person. I think that when you're younger and you're so busy and you're raising a family, you have less time to be grateful. Yeah. As I got older and I didn't have those responsibilities, I started reflecting more on my life and realizing like my life wasn't ideal, and I had some, difficulties in my life, but I could look back and think how fortunate I was that my life wasn't more difficult and it didn't knock me off the rails. The things that happened, I was always able to pull from inside me that positivity that, like I can do this, or, I'll get through this, or look at all the people I have around me to support me.
Right.
And I think a lot of gratitude for me comes from, I think I'm very grateful for, and I'm very fortunate that I have friends.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people who don't.
Yes.
There are people who don't have friends.
It's just real quick. Last night I started watching the second series of Love on the Spectrum, and the mother was talking about her son who has autism, and she got all choked up. She goes, because he has no friends.
I know.
And then when you just said that reminded me, and she just was just like, he has no friends.
Yeah.
Like, so you're right.
Keeping those connections, and I don't think people realize it, because you get busy with your life and you kind of let people drift away from you.
Yes.
I never let people drift away from me. I always fought
That's a
to
gift
keep
that you have.
that contact.
Yeah.
But because it's something that's so important to me. And like even my friend, I have a friend who lives in Hawaii. We've been friends. We've known each other since like first grade or second grade. And we became good friends when we were teenage. Through our teenage years and early 20s, we were good friends. And we still keep in touch with each other. And it's something like neither one of us, like sometimes it would be like 8 months, a year, and we wouldn't hear from each other. And then all of a sudden one of us will call the other. There's a time difference, so it's hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes during daylight savings time it's 6-hour time difference. But I think that keeping those relationships with your family too. Like I know you had difficulty, at one point, keeping a relationship with members of your family.
Right.
But
I went after it.
exactly. You have to fight for it. You have to
Yeah.
fight for them, because I think they're the things that are your most important things.
Right.
And I'm picking up not new friends, but friends from high school, because now we have a Facebook page, which there are positive things to say about Facebook.
Yes.
And friends that I had in high school, and then one young woman that she inboxed me, and she had just recently lost her sister, and I said, now I haven't seen her since high school, so probably the last time I saw her was when we graduated. I said, you need to call me. I'm here to listen. And I'm like, I don't know her that well anymore. But it's very weird when it's somebody from high school that you remember from high school, but there's still that person.
Because there's a safe space that's built there, because we know each other from a younger, with all the bull BS, so you don't have to, you're just focusing on the origin story, really, rather than all of the stuff.
You already made that connection with that person, and it might have been 50 years ago when I went to my first high school reunion that I ever went to. It was a 45-year reunion.
Oh, wow.
45 years. And at first I said, what am I doing?
Right.
This is going to be so scary and weird and awkward. And it wasn't.
See,
it really wasn't. And I was very delightfully surprised at that we still had, that connection was made all those years ago. And there was still that little thread of connection there.
Let me ask you, how can I put this in words? Do you feel like, because you made the effort at the reunion, that you just you made a point, like, I'm just jumping in?
Yeah, well, I jumped in before the reunion because
you did the video or something.
I did the DVD of. I told everybody, send me your pictures. I will make a DVD, and I set it to music, and it was all themed. And doing that project strengthened that connection because it brings back all these memories of these people that you shared that 4 years with.
Oh, yeah.
And these weren't people that lived in my neighborhood, because I went to a Catholic school. So I didn't go to school, like I went to 2 Catholic schools.
Right.
So the kids in my neighborhood, we all went to different schools. And so these were people that I didn't grow up with.
It was like me,
And they didn't live in my neighborhood. Like, they were my school friends. And then I had my friends at home, in my neighborhood. But it
cool.
was interesting to do this, to learn about this. And, I'll read a couple of things. Okay. The difference between thankful and grateful. Okay, thankfulness involves how we feel in the moment. It's a temporary emotion. Response to a temporary circumstance, such as receiving a gift. We express thankfulness when something good happens, but it's not enough to keep us in a positive mindset. And that's where the gratefulness comes in.
Right.
Like, gratefulness and mindfulness are very, very connected. And, always being mindful of being grateful for, like, instead of taking for granted, like, you have a nice place to live.
Yeah.
You always have food on the table. You have people who support you. And putting yourself, I always have plenty of wine. Luckily, I can afford to buy wine.
Right, exactly.
But volunteering in the food pantry, too, it's a way of showing gratefulness, but it's also a reminder of, what I do have. Like, I don't have to go to a food pantry to supplement food for my family.
Right.
And a lot of the people come from another country. A lot of them are immigrants. And they struggle with the language. They struggle with our culture. They struggle with the discrimination against them living in a pretty much all white neighborhood. It's Oyster Bay.
Yeah.
And, but, how about you guys? I mean, I guess we're probably all pretty much grateful for the same things, but...
Right, no, absolutely.
I love how you describe it as a mindset, and I've always felt that way, and it's a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
Some people, at least for me, maybe I should say, because I have met some people who just kind of emanate that, and it's always something you're like, wish to attain, like a state that way. When you first mentioned this topic today, I know you mentioned it earlier, but honestly I forgot.
I did too.
Was that, remember in Borders, there was a book that came out around with a hardcover pink book, and it was like a long book, and it was a gratitude journal.
Yes,
And that was a big thing. I think Oprah made it like
yes,
her book
yeah.
day or
Yeah.
something.
Yes,
So we always had hard stacks of that.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good practice. I mean, that was kind of cheesy because it's Oprah's book of the thing, but
yeah.
I like Oprah, don't get me wrong. But it's just, I think it's a great practice for those who want to get better at being grateful, is to write down every day something you're grateful for, or just to acknowledge what you have in your life. Like you said, it's like here we are, where you are, very like we're surrounded by friends. We get to see each other a couple times a month. We have food, we have homes, we
have good relationships with your family.
Yes.
Like you have teenagers,
yes,
and you have good relationships with them, which is like nothing short of a miracle when you think about it. It could go the other way anytime.
Right.
But like Carol and I have adult children, and it's funny because I was talking to my sister Maureen on the phone the other day, and I told her what I was going to be doing. She said, "Oh, that's so funny. Her daughter Amy just started writing. She said, from now on I'm going to write you letters." And she mails them.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And Maureen, she said, I was writing back to Amy, and what I was writing about was how grateful and fortunate I am to have 3 adult children that I have good relationships with. Because that doesn't happen with everybody.
No.
And like you have that with your kids, and I have that with mine, and that is a blessing that like you can never take for granted.
No.
But isn't that all that's really important?
Yeah.
Is your family
I mean, my
and
kids,
good health,
my kids,
too.
And my kids make fun of me though, but I think they do it in such a cute way because I always, whenever we're together, I can't help but say out loud, I just love being with you. And so Andrew will say, oh, I just love me. Yeah, like he'll make fun.
It makes him uncomfortable. You know how people make fun of something that makes you
I think he secretly likes it.
But
I
of
do
course
too.
they do. Of course.
But
Who wouldn't want to hear that from anyone?
I have to say it though. I
Yeah.
don't know why. It's just
Because you're grateful.
yeah. My kids, they look at me and they go, "Oh, she's sinking it again."
No, here comes the look.
Yeah, exactly. But
no, it's a good topic. It's a good reminder,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and like you said, because the news is
can make us
a
very
constant
disturbed.
humdrum that's going on right now.
I know, it's
there's a lot of
overwhelming.
people in this world who don't have
But
a lot.
and they
right
can
now
still
to
be
be
grateful. That's the
I
thing,
think-
you know. That's what
Well-
I'm thinking. That I'm sitting here thinking
Can
of
I
us. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry because it just
No,
it
no.
hit me too. I was reading on Facebook. Again, Facebook can be really good, and I'm part of this group called the Kindness Challenge or whatever
Uh-huh.
it is. Somebody put me in there, and there was a story there today about a woman who said, you know, I reconnected with my brother and who lives in New York City after a long period of estrangement. You know,
Oh, wow.
about 2 months ago,
Mhm.
and she said. And you know things were going good, and then today he hit me up for money. Which I which wasn't unexpected. He lives on disability and and Social Security. She goes, I knew it was coming, whatever. She goes, and here I started old feelings started coming. She goes, and he was talking to me one day, this morning, whatever it was. He's walking on the street, and all of a sudden I hear him say, "What is that, buddy? What?" Yeah, I can spare $1. Here you go. And it changed her mindset. She goes, here's my brother who really doesn't have anything himself,
Right.
but can so gratefully spare $1.
Right.
You know, and he's grateful. She goes, and it changed her mindset.
Yeah.
Because she's like, here I was. She obviously, I think, comes from a place where she can spare the money,
Right.
but you know,
Right.
money is an iffy thing, especially when you're dealing with friends and family.
Right,
you know,
right.
and it's like
Some
It
people
just-
feel taken advantage of
feeling taken
if someone
advantage of.
asks them for help, but
But she,
you know, what are we here for?
what are we doing? She posted that, and I just like, it was a reminder,
Yeah.
like, you know, you're grateful. She had the money to spare at that
Right,
point,
right.
and then her brother felt he had $1 to spare to
Right.
somebody who
I know.
needed a little help.
Well, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking if anyone's listening to us and thinking, well, yeah, of course, the three of you can be grateful. You've got,
We're drinking wine with dogs on our laps.
Yeah,
Woo!
you got food, you're on your table, you got, Jude's got a good job, you're retired, you're enjoying retirement, my book's coming out. Of course we have something to be grateful for.
But we weren't always those people
Well, that's
either.
what I was just going to say, because
We weren't.
I remember when I was going through my divorce, it was very stressful. My kids weren't happy with me at the time. I had a lump in my breast, didn't know what it was, if it was cancer or not, but I gotta tell you, I kept telling myself, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Just grateful. I don't believe in the God of the Bible, but I would say thank you. I would just say thank you. And it turned out, thankfully, that all is well. But even in that time, so when you're going through those times, practice being grateful.
When last year, well, really the end of 2022 and early last year, I went through my treatments. You know, I found out I had breast cancer and it runs in my family, and it was quite frightening. But I was so grateful that I was able to find a good doctor to treat me, and that I had my friends and my family, I had their support, to keep me brave, and because it's, it's easy to crash and burn in a situation like that.
Oh yeah,
so
definitely.
Yeah, I think that you could always find the gratitude. In any circumstance, no matter how bad it is,
It can be.
you have that. The gratitude is going to give you courage.
Yeah.
To power through anything.
Right.
And I was just reading here. I wrote down, research suggests that gratitude may be associated with better physical and psychological health, increased happiness and life satisfaction, and decreased materialism.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can too, because I know some people, they're like shopaholics.
Yes.
And it's like they're, those things are replacing
That's what
something
they need.
lacking in their life.
Yeah.
And
And it's it's funny you say that, because it's like this past Christmas, Christmas is so like, what do you want? What do you want?
Right.
And I've had such a hard time buying for my kids. And a lot of it is when I look, I said, what do you want? I don't really want anything.
I know.
And then I get like, but then I had to stop and reflect. I'm like, they don't want anything.
I know.
I go, that's actually pretty good.
Tate hasn't gotten to that stage yet. He's 11, but Riley is 15.
Right.
And she said, Grandma, I don't need anything. I can't think of anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I even said to my daughter, Jessica, I said, I feel proud of her, but not just say, oh, okay, I want this, and get me clothes, or it was like, I really don't, I have everything I need at 15 years old.
Same thing, and I was happy to hear that, because that's a reflection, like what you said, I think there's an internal happiness going on.
Yeah.
Well, this gentleman that I took care of his dog from December 22nd to January 1st, and the dog's name is Cody.
Did I meet Cody?
I don't know if you met Cody, no. But he went to Italy for the holiday.
Oh, I did, the big one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Cody was here.
Yeah.
So he went to Italy and they stayed in a villa. And, at first my mind was like, oh, that's Christmas. But then I thought, oh, they must have had such a lovely time because it was the experience. It wasn't like opening gifts that you're just gonna whatever. Yeah. But they went for the experience. Yeah. And I thought that's pretty awesome.
That's what we're trying to do with the girls. A lot of it, like their 16th is coming up next year.
Yes.
And we've always talked. I said, especially with Long Island. You know how they
oh my gosh. Yes.
I go, no. I said, we're having an experience. We're gonna go, and so that's what we try to do with our for birthdays.
Yeah, Riley doesn't want the party.
No, we're not doing
And she just went to one of her friends' parties. Yeah. And she was dreading it.
Yeah. It's a lot of.
And the girl whose party it was.
You're talking very low.
I know, because I don't know. I'll do that privately. Yeah, but anyway, this I thought was, gratitude is about being content with the state of your life. You may not always be happy, but you can still be grateful. And as you can see, I have so many notes, and they could go on and on.
Yeah. Well, it ties into what I said. One of the things early on is the happiness level. And I've always on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your happiness level?
Right. Didn't we take a test?
We did.
Yeah, I remember that.
And, because at the end of the day, and this is a concept from Boethius, Epictetus, is like you can only possess yourself, right? And so if you have yourself at the end of the day, then you have everything you have that you could ever have.
How long is it, Peggy?
It's not long.
Because we're going into well over an hour, so go ahead.
I actually put this on Facebook, I think you saw it. And it's called Love After Love. Okay. So I don't know whether it's a broken relationship. I mean, you read it the way you want, or after the death of someone. But it's by Derek Walcott. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, "Sit here, eat." You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life.
Oh,
that's a beautiful
That's
poem.
a nice way to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Because that, maybe I'll have to post the words online too.
Yeah.
Because I know you have it on your Facebook page. Thank you, Peggy.
Oh, well, anyway, I'm going to have to do a part 2 because I have 2 pages more about it.
Wow. Yeah, unfortunately, we tend to banter.
Yeah, we do. Well, the next one I think I'm going to do it on, which is connected to this. It's Random Acts of Kindness.
Oh, okay.
Which is very connected with gratefulness.
Right.
So.
Thank you, Miss Peggy. Thank you guys for watching.
Thanks for coming.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
I'm grateful for you.
Absolutely.